If you are thinking about picking one up, I just want to walk you through my experience using it in a normal day, what it feels like to live with, and the kinds of things I noticed right away once it was in the room. The basic idea is simple. This is an oversized recliner that can also lift you up to help you stand, and it can recline all the way flat. So the type of person I see getting the most out of it is someone who wants more space than a standard recliner, someone who has sore knees or hips and wants help getting up, or someone who spends long stretches reading, watching shows, or napping and wants more control over posture. What makes this one feel different from a lot of lift chairs I have tried is the way the backrest and footrest can move separately. In real life, that matters more than it sounds like it will. There are plenty of days where I want my legs up, but I do not want to be leaned back. And other times I want to recline for a nap, but I do not want my legs to drop down and leave my knees feeling unsupported. Being able to adjust those two parts on their own lets me land in those in-between positions without fighting the chair. Visually, it is a big, cushy chair. The one I have here is gray, and the fabric has a subtle grid look to it. It does not look shiny or slick, and it does not read like medical equipment. It looks like something that belongs in a living room. It is also the kind of chair that takes up space in a real way. When I rolled it into position, I immediately stopped and measured the area, because it is wide and deep enough that it can make a smaller room feel tighter. Once it is down, it feels planted. It is not the kind of chair that slides around when you shift your weight. The seat is the main reason I think bigger bodies will like it. It is genuinely wide. I am not squeezed in by the armrests, and I can change positions without feeling like I am falling off the edges. The seat height is a little lower than some lift chairs that feel more like a tall dining chair. For me, that lower seat makes it easy to settle back and relax, but it also means that if your knees want a higher perch, you might notice it when you go to stand. The lift helps, but the starting height still affects how it feels. The cushioning is soft, but not so soft that I disappear into it. I can sit for a while without feeling pressure points building up in the same spots. The backrest is tall enough that my shoulders are supported, and my neck does not feel like it is hanging off the top. That is a detail that matters if you are planning to nap in it, because a chair that is too short turns into a neck pillow problem pretty fast. The armrests are wide, and on this chair they can fold up. I did not think I would care about that, but I ended up using it more than I expected. It makes it easier to slide in and out from the side, and it also helps if you are repositioning yourself. The cup holders are there and they work like you would expect. The side pockets are actually useful. I keep a remote, a charging cable, and a small notebook in there, and I am not constantly losing things between the cushions. In day-to-day use, the controls are straightforward. I like that I do not have to memorize anything. I can bring the footrest up without changing the back angle, and I can bring the back down without forcing the legs into a position I do not want. There is also a one-touch home style button that brings it back toward a normal seated posture, which I ended up using a lot when I just wanted to reset and get out of the chair without fiddling. The lift function is the part I paid the most attention to, because that is where a chair can feel either stable or a little sketchy. On this one, the lift feels controlled. It is not jerky. It does not feel like it is trying to launch me. It just tilts and raises in a steady way, and that makes it easier to trust when you are tired or your legs are not cooperating. The chair itself is heavy enough that it does not feel like it is going to tip forward when it lifts. That weight is annoying during setup, but it pays off once you actually use it. Speaking of setup, this is not something I would move alone. The base is bulky, and the whole chair has enough weight that I would rather have a second person there so nothing gets twisted or dropped. The usual process is attaching the back to the base, connecting the cables, and making sure the cords are rooted in a way that they will not get pinched when the chair moves. After I placed it, I also made sure there was real clearance behind it. Since it can go fully flat, it needs space or it will bump the wall. This is one of those things you only forget once, because the sound of a recliner gently pushing into drywall is not a good time. In real use, the lay flat position is legit. I can recline until I am basically flat, and it is comfortable enough for a nap. I would not replace a bed with it, but for a midday nap or just taking pressure off your back, it does the job. The more practical win, though, is the range of partial recline positions. I found a couple of angles that work well for watching a video without my head tipping forward, and a different angle that works better for reading, with my legs up but my back more upright. This chair also has lumbar heating and vibration massage. I want to describe this the way it actually feels. The heat is a warm spot in the lower back area. It is comforting, especially when my back feels stiff, but it is not the kind of heat that feels intense. It is more like a steady warmth you leave on for a while. The massage is vibration. It is not kneading. It is not deep tissue. It feels like a gentle buzzing in different zones, and I find it best for winding down at night or when my legs feel heavy. I use the low setting more than the high one, because high vibration can feel a little distracting when I am trying to focus on a book or a show. There is also a charging port built in, and in my case, it is useful for keeping my phone alive while I am sitting here for a while. I treat it as a convenience charging spot, not as something I would rely on for charging bigger devices quickly. It is still better than running an extension cord across the floor. There is no mobile app with this chair, and honestly, I am fine with that. This is one of those products where I prefer physical buttons that work every time. I do not want to troubleshoot wireless connections when I am just trying to put my feet up. The simple remote control approach fits the way this kind of chair gets used. Over the time I have been using it, my overall impression is that it does the important stuff well. It is roomy, it feels stable when lifting, and the independent movement of the back and footrest makes it easier to get comfortable without constantly compromising. The practical extras, like the pockets and cup holders, actually get used. I do have a few real complaints. The size is both a benefit and a limitation. It can dominate a smaller room, and moving it through a narrow hallway is not fun. The seat height, while comfortable for lounging, may feel a bit low if you specifically want a higher starting position before the lift kicks in. The massage and heat are nice, but if you are expecting strong massage pressure, that is not what this is. And because there are more moving parts than a basic recliner, I would be careful with cord placement, and I would pay attention to keeping the power cable out of the path of the chair movement. If you are the kind of person who wants a wide seat, wants to lay flat, wants help standing up, and wants simple controls that make sense the first time you use them, I think this chair fits that need in a realistic way. It feels like a chair you will actually spend time in, not just a piece of assistive equipment you tolerate. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with your questions or your own experience with lift chairs. Thank you for watching.